Okay, so in this video, I want to show you how you can use the puppet work tool. Right now, this female figure, she's looking straight ahead, but her shoulders are a little, they're not slumped, but, she's just sort of got a nonchalant look. But if we want her to sort of be looking upwards a little bit, like, her chin's up a little bit higher, then we can use a puppet warp tool to make her sort of look like she's adjusted her head to look in a different direction. Now, one of the things that's going to happen, I'll just let you know, the book told you to make a destructive change to create the green glass rims. But in my video, I showed you how to use a non-destructive layer. Well, the only thing that is going to be true now is that if I were to puppet warp this layer of the model, or model copy I should say, then what's going to happen is that the adjustment with the green is going to stay in place because it's on a separate layer. So one of the things that I want to do right off the bat is I want to preserve these original ones in case anything ever happened where I needed to go back to them. And what I can do is I can drag these into a folder to create a layer group, and I'll call this model mask and adjustment or something like that. Adjustment. Okay. And what I want to do now is, and you can see inside of that layer group I've got my originals, right? And in fact what I could do is I could rename it so I say original. And I'll just put orig for original. And now I want to keep that there, but I want to duplicate it by dragging it to this little page icon. And so now I've got a duplicate. I can turn off the original one, and I can go in here and I can rename this, and I can call it model mask. Let's just call it model mask merged. And I want to show you how you can deal with this. So let's open this up, and I want to take these two layers, all right, and I want to right click them. Oops, let's try that again. I want to right click them. Sorry, I don't know what the problem is here. My right click's not working. There we go. And then I want to say merge layers, and it merges those two. And so now I actually have this figure, right, and she's all by herself, and now the green sunglasses, or I guess regular glasses, are part of her single layer. Okay, so that's good, and I can rename this and I can call it model, and I'll call it puppet warp or something like that, so that because we're going to use this as the layer that we do a puppet warp on. Okay, and I turned off the visibility of the old one, right? You can see here. All right, but I have it there as an archive. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to take this and go up while it's selected, while model puppet warp is selected, go up to edit, and then I'll say puppet warp, and then it puts this matrix, like this web, across the object to try to figure out, a potential, like, it looks like it's a three-dimensional web. It's not exactly a three-dimensional web. It's still 2D, but it allows you to create anchor points so that you can start to make adjustments to the object. So I'm going to drop some anchor points. Let's just drop them somewhere in this range. And then we're going to have her head pivot so that it pivots back here, but this will be one of the points where it's sort of like a point of departure, I guess. And so my main pivot point will probably be about right there. So in between here and here, I might want to create some additional points as well, and then here I might sort of come back down. All right, and then I want to go ahead and complete this. So it's really up to you if you want how many points you want to put. You don't have to put too many points, but you need to put enough that that it would be a complete object. All right, so and then we'll come down here and we'll finish it off like that. All right, and so now we've got this basic bottom part that's sort of going to be the anchor, and then the head is going to adjust. And then so this is going to be the pivot point right here in the back. So if I select that, it puts a little white dot in there. Okay, and then at this point, if I hold down Option on a Mac or Alt on Windows, it'll give me this it'll give me this rotatable thing. It also, if I move my mouse too far, it might turn into scissors, so you have to kind of be careful, and then just get it to this rotate and then click and drag, and then you can start to adjust it so that you make her head shift backwards. And it's pretty incredible, actually, you know, like you could, in terms of the way that it starts to warp, right, this. But you know, we're going to have her head. I'm going to do mine at about 30 degrees. I don't want to do it too dramatically. I think the book has it go even further back. I think that's a little awkward, but I think I'll do it somewhere around 30 degrees, 30.7 degrees or something, right? And then, you know, she's looking up, and I think that that's sort of a better looking posture, right? So if you wanted to have somebody with a better looking posture, you could do that, right? And then to commit to it, you just click the return key, and now we've got an adjustment, okay? And so she's holding her head up a little bit higher. Okay, and so that's how you can do a puppet warp, and it's really a pretty cool tool that you can rotate, you can use it to stretch and warp things, but it does it in a way that it still preserves the matrix of the interior pixels of the image or the object. Okay.